life that are maybe not as common or as boring as we may think, because looking back on it in retrospect, okay, I have to say that those experiences were enriching. They taught me more about people, they helped me to see things differently, and of course maturity when it came to politics and police helped a lot to make me understand that you can make it to whatever degree what you want it to be. It may not be what everybody else thinks it should be, but my feeling is your model should be your model. Your presentation of what you believe should be hopefully a model that is to the benefit of people. So serving people as a speech therapist, serving children, serving adults, working with visiting nurses, with people who are dying, people who were tragically ill, who couldn't speak, who had strokes, who had brain trauma. All of that shaped me in a way that said to me, we all are the same. We come in this life and we exit this life. And there's this journey in between that makes it very important for us to keep open, not rigid, to use our education, our reading, our learning experiences to do good, to the best of our ability. And so when the opportunity came my way, through my advocacy to be a council person for the 5th Ward, it was again about doing good, not just for Chris Dansereau, because at first it was like, wait a minute, I got water in my basement here. What the heck is going on? But then I started to find out about all the other people that were suffering, okay? And I was like, oh, this can't be. So I went and hung out by the supermarket with flyers. I went up and down streets and asked them to come to the council meeting. They said, what are you running for? I wasn't running for anything. They go, you must be running for something. No, I'm not. I just would like to know if you have a problem and you help me and we'll help each other to bring it to light to the people who maybe can change that problem. So we brought our pictures, and I'll never forget the first day that I walked into the Council of Chambers, and we walked in about 150 people, and so they were waiting. You know how they wait. They think it's the Girl Scouts or whoever's coming, and they're all going to leave, except nobody walked out of the door. So as we're going up to the microphone, respectfully, because, that was important. We talked about the issues. And I remember Ron Heyman, Councilman Heyman, his father was on the council, and he said to me, don't give up. He said to me, in fact, I cut the article out of the paper because it was written up, what he said and what I said. And I gave it to Ron Heyman, Councilman Heyman. I said, your father at that time was the only one that said to me, don't give up. We have to do something about this. We have to fix it, okay? And it stuck with me, okay? And it made me, it drove me on. Because it didn't matter if it was 1 or 100. It was that this individual in that position had the good sense to say, it's okay, keep voicing it, keep trying. And change doesn't always happen in your lifetime, but hey, you're maybe just a rung in the ladder, and that's okay. So at the time, our old engineer, Frank Kosher, looking over the end of my street, and we're looking at the mess that's overflowing, and he said to me, wow, I wish we could do something. And I said, well, we have to do something. When can you fix this? Next month? And he laughed, like, yeah, sure, right. And he said to me, unfortunately, it's never going to happen in your lifetime. Okay, my ears were like ringing, that's not going to happen. I said to him, that's not true. He said, I'll bet you a bottle of champagne that it will not happen in your lifetime. We just don't have the money. And at the time, I thought, he said, oh, they're not going to fix this whole problem with 20 houses. It turns out to be 2 wards and multiple houses. But so I called him up after it finally got done, and I said, you owe me a bottle of champagne. And he laughed. And so giving up isn't in my vocabulary, I know that sometimes you can't go through a brick wall, Sometimes things don't get done in the time frame you want them to get done. You may have to take different routes with the people you work with. But what I came to find out is that everybody worked together. It was a combination of Frank had given me all the documents I needed to move this forward. Our assembly people, our senators, our county officials, working with us and the council people to actually get this done. I started to realize then that no one individual can do something that is important to the entire community, that it is a group of individuals, it's many individuals. You think it's one voice, sometimes maybe one voice can start it, which is fine, okay? But it takes a village, as I say. So I was very fortunate to have the opportunity in the 5th Ward to have people, even in spite of the fact that that first project took so long to get done, but somehow or other, they truly believed that it was going to happen. And they believed that I would not give up until it was done. I think that's what they did. I had one person say to me, "Get out of my face. You said this was going to happen. It hasn't happened yet." And all I could say to them is, but I'm one of the few people that's willing to stay the course. And so when this situation as mayor, okay, came up, and I worked as council at large, well, it wasn't on my bucket list either. When our assemblyman sat me down and said, "I'm on the short list for assembly," no surprise, you know, because the go-getter that he is and young inspiration in politics that he is, he said, "You have to be mayor." So, you know, the shock and awe after it, you know, kind of died down was like, I was getting ready to retire at the end of my term as councilwoman at large next year, 2016. You know, he said, "No, you can't do that. Okay, you have to stay the course." And we talked about it, and I said, "Give me some time to think and talk with my family and to absorb this." And so I thought there were a number of reasons that I decided to do this. You know, one, because I knew that I was probably the most senior outside of Beavis, okay, who in terms of working through both the school board as well. He has the most years in the community working as an experienced politician, okay? And I'm next in terms of just council. And so I had an opportunity to work with many of the projects that were kind of floating out there in the air, you know? And I knew that there needed to be, at least with the transition, because this community understood that we had been through a big transition. We now had a wonderful mayor, and it was well loved by the community, and now it needed stability. It didn't need someone to come in and destabilize. And it needed someone that offered that kind of stability. I think to some degree, I think when you're older in years, you know, that kind of presents itself as stability, and plus knowing and understanding the breadth and depth of the work that we have cut out for us, that we have to do. And I'm thankful that I had an opportunity to work on almost everything moving up there. So I said yes, you know, and I said the reason is because, you know, I know it sounds corny, it sounds like a cliche, but I love my family. I love the people in it. I believe that it has no place else but to improve and grow. I think that when we're thinking about the town, we have to think of its families, its children, all of its people, the beauty of its diversity, the things that we all hope and dream to have, you know, every day, each and every one of us to succeed to whatever level. So the things that it takes to get that there and achieve there through a council decision on, you know, voting on different things that help improve our community. I know it sounds pretty boring when you talk about repairing sewers and roads and all of those other kinds of things, and it's real sexy when you're talking about parks and, you know, community centers and all of that. But there's a lot to be said about the infrastructure. Anyone who has gone through Camden has gone through some of the towns that are absolutely devastated where the infrastructure is just crumbling, knows and understands that we have to preserve everything in our town in a well-ordered fashion, and we have to keep it going, but not breaking the backs of the taxpayer.